The business, motherfucker.
The Daily Read. Your source for news, politics, sports, and all things trending. Here's your host, Marcus Gentry.
In 2020, we need to pay attention to state elections as well as elections for president and Congress. State elections could decide whether the Republican Party further corrupts democracy. As demographics change and America becomes more diverse and more liberal, the GOP has responded by implementing policies that will take away power from the American people. Rather than changing with the times, they've got another plan: minority rule by them.
And there you have it, people. Once again, like I told you in one of my last shows, that the Confederacy is still real. It's still here. And that was Robert Reich. He's basically he's a millionaire. He's been around in politics a while, and he falls more on the liberal side. And he's basically explaining to you everything that I've been explaining to you all along, but people don't listen to me. You know, I'm starting to catch on. I got over 2,000 subscribers and followers right now. My show isn't big like some of the mainstream media shows, but it's catching on, people. The Confederacy is still here. They never had the head chopped off the body, like I explained to you. This is real. The man just explained to you how the Republican Party is basically making power moves to keep the white race in power, even though there might be a minority here pretty soon. They're doing it through politics. The Confederacy couldn't win with bombs and guns and things of that nature back in the Civil War. They tried it again with George Wallace, and they were defeated. Now they found their opportunity in Donald Trump to basically take this country. And that's what they're doing. They're slowly taking this country through politics. The man just explained it to you. You need to go and look him up. His name is Robert Reich. Robert Reich. R-E-I-C-H. Reich. You need to look this guy up, and he basically lays it out for you. I laid it out for all my people. I broke it down for you how the Confederacy, the men and women who ran the Confederacy never had a chance to do major time in prison. They were released back into the population and were treated as heroes back in the South. They had statues erected to them. This is real. It's happening, people, right before our eyes. They got this gerrymandering going on. They're making political maps to where if they had a regular map, a normal map of the political scale in their area, they would never win an election. So they're making maps, poll maps, and district maps that are basically bigoted and illegal. They're doing it all over the country. The Republican Party is a dying party. It's a party made up of mostly white old men who have a fear of their generations after them losing power in this country. They don't care nothing about Donald Trump. They're going to throw this man to the wolves once he leaves office. And the Southern District of New York, is going to lock him up. They already got it in motion. You know, once they get the man's taxes, it's a wrap, people. But as long as he's in office, they're going to protect him because they making moves behind the scenes that none of you even know nothing about. This is serious, and it's going down right before our eyes. Now we got Donald Trump scared to lose this election, because he knows once he loses this election, the very next president that puts his hand on the Bible and gets sworn in, that very next day, federal and state prosecutors are going to send U.S. Marshals to serve him indictments. Stuff like this don't happen in America. This only happens in third world countries, where you see a president gets taken out of office and go straight to a courthouse to get arraigned for charges. This is stuff that happens in Venezuela and Czechoslovakia and all these foreign countries that are basically third world countries that are ran by strong men, criminals. And Donald Trump's fit that description. But before I get further into that, I'm gonna get to the Masonic Journal. We have the Lovely Ladies of Assyria, Chapter 2. They are throwing a masquerade ball, a masquerade party on September 28th. It's right around the corner, people. About 6 or 7 more days. And it's going down. These ladies throw a good party every year. Matter of fact, I'm gonna get the paperwork on that. But these ladies throw a good party every year, and it's a good thing. If y'all in the Nashville area, y'all need to be there. One of my commercials is gonna have all the pertinent information you need to know to get down there, who to buy the tickets from, or you could just go to the door and get your tickets. Now, November 9th, the Brothers of the Rod, these are my brothers now, they're throwing a blue jean and blazer party. Now, you men, you can't get in if you come in there with a jogging suit or some t-shirts and shorts on. You got to come in there suited and booted, man. You got to have, your blue jeans and blazer. We want to see you neat. We understand that some clubs and bars let you come in any kind of way, but this is a blue jean and blazer party. So if you come to the door looking like, you just came from a soccer game, we're not going to let you in. Okay, again, November 9th, the Blue Jean and Blazer Party. I have another commercial on my second segment, and I'm going to advertise that. But that's the Masonic Journal for the day. And if anyone want to contact me in the Masonic community and advertise your events, it's free. Just reach out, people. Go to masonicjournal@gmail.com. Again, all lowercase, masonicjournal@gmail.com, and leave me your name, your phone number, all the pertinent information. And if you have a flyer, post the flyer to the email. That way I can make you a small commercial and put it on my show. Whatever event you're throwing, if you're doing a book bag giveaway somewhere, you're giving out canned goods, you're going to the VA, helping the veterans, whatever it is you got going on in your community around the country, reach out to me and I'll give you free advertisement. My show is not that big right now. It's like I said, I only have about 2,000 to 5,000 followers. I'm not like some of the bigger hosts that have 1 million followers yet, subscribers, but I'm growing. This show is catching on, people, because I keep it real here. I don't play games. I don't shuck and jive. I'm gonna give it to you real. And I want to get into this whistleblower event that just happened. I had a article out the Washington Post. It says, what is the Trump whistleblower complaint about? Here is a timeline of what we know. Now, they basically breaking down to you, what is all this about? I know some of you seen it in the newspaper, or well, people don't read the newspaper like I read it. You know, it's a dying breed of people who sit down and actually read the newspaper. But some of you probably seen it on the news. Now, what happened is somebody in the Trump administration, and I'm surprised more people haven't stepped up and said something about what's going on with this guy. This guy's bad news. And I'm surprised more people haven't stepped up. But that just goes to show you that this country is like, it's a lot of fear out here. And people are looking towards Donald Trump to save them in the white community. They're looking for Donald Trump to save them. They thinking he's gonna usher in a white dominance in this country. You know, it's a fear of black and brown people, and these people are keeping quiet. They working for them. They don't like it, but they're keeping quiet. But one person has had enough. Now, this is a post by Greg Miller, Ellen Nakashima, and Shane Harris. Now, this whistleblower complaint pertains to President Trump's communication with a foreign leader. And he made some kind of promise. The man has been trying to get dirt on Joe Biden because he knows Joe Biden can beat him in the general election. And he's scared. These people know that if the day Donald Trump leaves office, they're going to put him in handcuffs. The man has been a criminal and a crook all his life. Him and his father. And they've been bigots all their life. Him and his father. And the messed up thing about the whole Donald Trump situation is, you know you've been crooked all your life, but yet you jumped out there and put yourself in the spotlight to become president. Let me break that down for you people. That's like a known gang member or crook. You know, he been known to put hits on people, been known to hurt people, and he sees somebody like Barack Obama, who he can't stand, become president. He can't stand him because of his black skin. So his bigotry and hatred, instead of keeping it to himself or keeping it, you know, in his small circle, his bigotry and hatred pushed him to run for public office so he can undo all the things that Barack Obama has done. And that's basically what we got going on here. This man is trying to throw himself on the sword because he knows that, you know, he's an old guy, he's an old man, his days are numbered, and he don't care about all the things he's done in the past, as long as he can unravel the things that this black man that was president before him has done. At this point, I don't even think Donald Trump is even concerned about going to prison. I don't even think he cares. Because like I said, he's an old man. He's in his 70s. Most men in this country don't live to be but 75 to 78 years old. Women live longer than us men in this country. So by him being in his 70s, he's at the end of his road anyway. So he's just trying to do as much damage as he can for against minorities, for the white race, as he can. Now, let me give you what this whistleblower has basically. Let me give you the timeline. On June 11th, Trump says he received another beautiful letter from Kim Jong-un. And June 14th, Trump holds a phone call with Japanese Prime Minister. June 18th, Trump holds a call with Chinese President. Now, mind you now, people, all of these phone calls basically are cover. These phone calls are cover for him to always go back and say, I talked to a lot of world leaders. Okay, so you got to keep this in context, people. You got to understand that these phone calls are cover. Yes, he does. He's the president, so he's gonna talk to a lot of world leaders. But basically, it's like a man commits a crime, but he makes sure that he's spotted in different places. He might go to this restaurant and make sure his face is seen on the camera. He might go to another location and make sure his face seen on the camera, and then he goes to commit the crime because he always has that cover saying, man, I couldn't have did the crime because I was over here doing this and that. It's on camera. I was over there. That's what these phone calls are. June 14th, Trump holds a call with Japanese Prime Minister. June 18th, he holds a call with the Chinese president. June 27th, 29th, Trump attends the group of G20 summit. June 30th, Trump meets with Kim. July 1st, Trump holds a phone call with the French president. July 4th, Trump holds another phone call with Egyptian president. July 6th, Trump holds a phone call with the prime minister. July 8th, so all these phone calls, people, is slick. You know what I'm saying? He's being slick, people. He's being slick. He know he's about to make the major call that he needs to make to get dirt on Joe Biden, but he's basically making all these other phone calls and spreading them out over time so he can basically say, look, I talked to a lot of world leaders. July 8th, Trump holds a call with Macron. July 9th, Trump meets with the Emir of Qatar, Tamim bin Hamad. July 11th, Trump holds another phone call with Benjamin Netanyahu. July 22nd, Trump meets with Pakistan Prime Minister. July 25th, Trump holds phone call with Ukraine. Now this is the one that's important. You see, this is where, see, if I was a prosecutor, I would lay this whole case out. The man was trying to be slick. See, people think Trump don't know what he's doing. The man knows what he's doing. You see, July 25th, this is the phone call right here, people. Trump holds a phone call with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. July 28th, Trump announces Director of National Intelligence Daniel Coats resigns. Now, this is the key. Like I said, Daniel Coats, Director of National Intelligence, resigned for a reason. He heard that phone call and he knew that that was illegal. But him, like I said, being a part of the whole Confederate movement to hold power, he's conflicted. He's conflicted, people. See, this is what's happening in this country. You got whites that want to hold power in this country, but they want to do it within the country. They don't want to use outside interference because that's dangerous. That's dangerous. That's like what I said in one of my other shows, how you got two brothers in the house fighting against each other, whites and blacks. And then some guy down the street comes into your house and gets involved in you and your brother's dispute. Both of you and your brother are going to get together and kick him out. The brother down the street is Russia. So y'all got to understand this, people. You got some whites out here who want to remain in power, but at the same time, they don't fool with Russia like that. They don't fool with Ukraine like that. So this guy, Director of National Intelligence, Daniel Coats, he resigned right after that phone call. You know, he put in his resignation letter. He heard that phone call, and he knew that this is not right for Trump to be trying to go and get dirt from another foreign country against Joe Biden and his son. Now, July 31st, Trump holds a phone call with Putin, Vladimir Putin. The call is first reported by the Russians. Now, get this now. The Russians reported it, but Donald Trump and the administration didn't report it. And if the Russians wouldn't have reported it, we probably would have never known nothing about it. The White House doesn't confirm it till late that evening, saying Trump expressed concerns over the vast wildfires afflicting Siberia. Now, why does an American president care about wildfires in Siberia? What the hell has that got to do with us? This is crazy. The man is a Russian stooge. The leaders also discussed trade between the two countries. You know, I mean, come on now, people. Before I continue on with this, I'm gonna go into my first commercial break. And this is the Daily Read, and I'm your host, Marcus Gentry.
The business, motherfucker.
The Daily Read.
All right, good people. The lovely ladies of Assyria Chapter 2 will be throwing the 4th annual Masquerade Ball. The 4th annual Masquerade Ball. It will be held at 660 Lafayette Street, Nashville, Tennessee, 37204. That's 660 Lafayette Street, Nashville, Tennessee, 37204. $30 for singles at the door, $40 for couples, $5 off pre-sales. The show will be from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. And if you're in the town, in the area, you need to be there, people. This is a good event. And this is the 4th annual Masquerade Ball, September 28th. Thank you.
The business, motherfucker.
The Daily Read.
All right, and we're back, people, for the Daily Read, and I am your host, Marcus Gentry. I'm going to do a quick recap on what I was talking about in my first segment. Now, in my first segment, we was talking about how Robert Wright was explaining to you how the Confederacy, well, he doesn't call it the Confederacy, he called it the Republican Party. But, you know, I've already laid the history down to you. Go back on one of my previous shows and listen to how I laid the history down to you of how the Dixie Democrats, moved over to the Republican Party and took over the Republican Party. I laid it out for you people. And he basically is letting you know that the Republican Party is gerrymandering state and local elections, trying to keep the power in the Republicans' hands for now until future ends. Even though they lose in the popular vote, they still wind up winning anyway. This is dangerous, people. None of us is paying attention to this. I also talked about in my first segment how Donald Trump is trying to get information on Joe Biden, who can beat him. You know, like I said, Joe Biden can beat him, Elizabeth Warren can beat him, and Bernie Sanders can. Matter of fact, most of the Democratic nominees that's running for president can probably beat Donald Trump. But as far as who leads right now, Joe Biden is in the lead by several points, at least 13 to 15 points. And he's trying his best to stay in power because the statute of limitations, if he wins this next election, the statute of limitations on the crimes that he's committed will run out. But the day somebody else is sworn in as president, they're going to put this man in handcuffs. They're going to indict him. He's already been he's already connected to his lawyer in a scam to pay off a porn star. He's already been in basically an unindicted co-conspirator in that. So, you know, this is serious, people. And now he's calling Ukraine trying to deny them money unless they help him in the next election. So I'm going to continue on with this. As I said, July 31st, he called Putin, Vladimir Putin, and asked him about some damn wildfires, expressed his concern about some wildfires in Siberia. You know, you're not even concerned about the people in the Bahamas, but you're calling Vladimir Putin concerned about Siberia. You know, what sense does that make? You know, July 31st, Trump meets with, I'm not even going to try to pronounce his man's name, from Mongolia. August 2nd, United States officially withdraws from the Intermediate Range Nuclear Forces Treaty with Russia. This is it, people. This is it. This is what I talked about on another one of my shows. Remember when I said America launched that missile, that intermediate range missile off the coast of Long Beach? It wasn't even in the news. It says here, United States officially withdraws from the Intermediate Range Nuclear Forces Treaty with Russia as had been previously announced. See, they hide this stuff in newspapers, people. You know, they hide this stuff in newspapers. And this is dangerous. You know, Ronald Reagan, him and Mikhail Gorbachev signed this treaty for a reason. I talked about this on another one of my shows. How the long range missiles go up into outer space and gives your people time to prepare for a nuclear strike. Now these are intermediate range missiles. They don't go into outer space. They go straight up in the air and go straight towards your country. You don't have time to prepare, people. This is dangerous. August 2nd, Trump announces trade deal alongside European Union leaders. August 2nd, Trump holds phone call with British Prime Minister. August 8th, after Trump picks Representative John Ratcliffe to replace Coates, Trump announces Joseph Maguire will take on the role in acting capacity. In doing so, he bypassed Sue Gordon, who had been Coates number 2 at the DNI and was a career intelligence. August 9th, a brief letter from Gordon to Trump is released. It makes her disappointment clear. I offer this letter as an act of respect and patriotism, not preference. You should have your team. So basically, you know, these people know in the intelligence community that this man is a turncoat. They know. They can't do nothing about it. You know, actually they can. You know, some of these people who are whistleblowers, all they have to do is fall on the sword. You know, you might do 5 years in prison, but hey, you got to step up, people. If you're a true patriot like you claim you are, step up. If you know information about this dude and he's corrupting this country, step up. Let it be known. Just as simple as that. Let it be known. Come out. Don't be scared. September 17th, McGuire says he would not testify or hand over the whistleblower complaint. Schiff said McGuire told him he couldn't because he is being instructed not to, that this involved a higher authority, someone above him. That means the White House is telling him, do not turn over this damning information about Donald Trump. My thing is, we need to talk to Dan Coates, the one who quit after he heard that phone call. That's who we need to talk to. September 18th, the Post reports the complaints involves Trump communications with a foreign leader and some kind of promise. Now, basically what the man is saying in this article, it is tempting to draw the conclusion that this somehow involves the Russians for a few reasons. What happened in 2017, the lack of disclosure about the call, and the fact that Russians alluded to some kind of talks about normalizing relations. Now, Rudy Giuliani, again, he's another turncoat. You know, he done went over here to Ukraine trying to basically dig up dirt too on Joe Biden and his son. These people are the worst of the worst people. They're the worst of the worst. And they're doing it in the name of fear. They're scared. They know that another 200-300 years from now, there's going to be more brown skinned and dark skinned people in this country. They can't stop it. They're not going to put you back in slavery. It'll be death in the streets. They're not going to put you back in segregation. It'll be death in the streets. So what they're doing is they're saying to themselves, if you know, it's going to be all of these minorities running around here basically taking over, we need to still be in power. And that's basically what they're doing. They're sewing up all the power around the United States, the judges, the congressmen, the local and state governments, so they can basically dictate how you live. You know, you got the white minority, pretty soon, they're going to be the minority, are going to try to dictate how you live and who has the funds. Now, that's not saying the money is going to stop coming into black people's hands. They're still going to have their Kanyes, you know, and there's certain people who they feel is worthy and in their good graces to get millions. They're still going to have that. We're still going to have our multimillionaires and billionaires, black businessmen and businesswomen. But if you're not tap dancing to what they want, you're basically not going to have nothing. And then on top of that, with the way the judicial system is set up, you won't even be able to have a gun to protect yourself and your family because you're going to have felonies. So this is serious, people. This is serious. These people are playing chess. I keep telling you that. They're not playing checkers. They're playing chess. And they in to play the long game. They in it to win it all. You know. They in it to win it all. They're not playing out here. My thing is, how many of y'all are going to stay asleep? How many of y'all going to go down there to register to vote? You got to, people. We got to get this clown out of here. Because this is going to have long-lasting effects on our kids and our grandkids. They won't be able to do nothing in life. Nothing. Won't be able to hold good jobs. Won't have any money. Staying in the ghettos and projects of America. It's all about wealth. It ain't about slavery. It ain't about segregation. This is about wealth. They can't put you back in all of that. And you're gonna have those like I say, those righteous black people running around here, you know, with this fear mongering, talking about how they're gonna put you back in slavery and segregation and all this and that. Man, it's not gonna happen, people. They're gonna keep this wealth. That's what it's about. It's about the money. It's about the money, people. This show is called The Daily Read, and I had to give you guys a little bit of world news because I think that news right there, this whistleblower that's coming forward, is important. But I'm gonna get into what's going on in the papers, and because this is important. They hide a lot of things that you would never see on TV in these papers. You know, they have it says here, an app rewards you for getting off the phone. That's interesting. It says a Middle Tennessee entrepreneur aims to help curb screen time. This is good. This is good, but my thing is, why? You know, why do we need an entrepreneur to create an app on your phone that basically gives you a couple of cents in your pocket, a little chump change, to keep you off the phone? What is that about? You know? What is that about, people? Why do we gotta need that? I mean, I think, you know, we do need to spend more time reading instead of having our faces in the phone, but you know, that goes to show you the degradation that's going on in our communities, where, you know, they putting apps on phones now to keep you off of them. You know, we turning into zombies. You know, everybody got their head in the phone. That's crazy. Entrepreneur. This is an article by Nancy DeGennaro from Murfreesboro, Daily News Journal. She's she does create some good articles. I've read a couple of her other articles before, and that's a good one. It's a good article. She keeps it coming. I'm a 10K. Opioid epidemic still rages across the nation. Opioid. Recovering addicts' families, officials describe horrors. You know, this opioid thing can be easily stopped, people. And the reason why it can be because, you know, like I told you before about the 80s, when Ronald Reagan basically decapitated the minorities by locking up hundreds of thousands of black men and women for crack cocaine in the 80s. Basically, you know, when minorities get a hold of illegal substances that can make them a lot of money, that's when the crackdown happens. That's when the crackdown happens, people. It's proven. This is not no theory. This is facts. You know, see, the opioid epidemic is basically multi-billionaire companies ran by white people, and they're not stopping it. They're not stopping this opioid epidemic because these people in big pharma are putting money into the pockets of the politicians. You see, those drug dealers in the 80s, they weren't putting money into the pockets of the politicians. They started cracking down on crack. As lawyers exchanged mountains of paper and dicker over the details of settlement with Oxycontin maker Purdue Pharma, Americans are dying from opioids by the tens of thousands in an epidemic that grinds on the state after state, community after community, with no end in sight. You see, this is big pharma, people. These are donors. These are political donors. This is like the NRA, the tobacco companies. These people put billions of dollars into the pockets of politicians to help them win elections. That's why this epidemic hasn't stopped. They start locking these people up, it'll stop. They're not going to do it, though. You know, they're not going to do it. These aren't black men doing this. These are wealthy white people who have pharmaceutical companies. They own pharmaceutical companies. Now, I'm not saying blacks aren't involved as far as stocks. They might buy stocks into the company, but the owners of these companies are basically multi-billionaire white people, and these people are donors. They donate millions of dollars into the pockets of politicians, and as long as they keep donating this money, the opioid epidemic is not going to stop. You start putting handcuffs on these people. I guarantee you the opioid epidemic will slowly trickle down. Now, people are still going to get out here and get it because they can get it mailed in from Mexico or Europe or whatever, but it won't be this epidemic that's going on now. Let me get into my last commercial break, and I'm going to try to get on the phone with Brother Porter. And before I finish up with the daily read today, I'm gonna try to get on the phone with Brother Porter, and maybe we can get you some sports news in here, because we haven't did sports news in about a week. This is the daily read, and I'm your host, Marcus Gentry. We'll be back.
The business, motherfucker.
The Daily Read.
The Rod presents his very own Blue Jeans and Blazer Party, people. Blue Jeans and Blazer Party. Get ready, Nashville. November 9th, 2019 at 7 p.m. until. It's going to be held at Panobi's, 903 Rivergate Parkway, Goodlettsville, Tennessee, 37072. Contact information is 615-440-1707 for tickets. Again, it's going to be held at Panobi's, the Blue Jean and Blazers Party. Be there, be nowhere.
The business, motherfucker.
The Daily Read.
All right, people, we back. This is the Daily Read, and I'm your host, Marcus Gentry. I'm on the phone here with Brother Porter, and this is the sports call with Brother Porter. How you doing, Brother Porter?
I'm doing real good, bro. Just getting up in the morning, thanking God.
Okay.
For family and
Yeah, it is.
for the beautiful day outside, man.
Yeah, it is a beautiful Sunday. Yeah, what you got for me for the sports, man?
Bro, you got a whole lot going on around the league, brother. I told one of our brothers I was gonna have a sister shout out for him today, right?
Okay.
And I'm gonna leave them alone though, because it ain't really my game. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
My game, I don't like the Cowboys. I'm gonna be honest.
You know what?
I'm gonna be honest with you. But right now they 2-0. They 2-0 and they looking real good, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I got the Porter picks though, right? So
Okay.
I'm definitely gonna go with the Browns over the Rams.
Okay.
He's showing out, okay?
Okay.
For Chuck, for Hardy, I'm going with y'all Cowboys versus Dolphins.
Okay. Okay.
Swimming around somewhere, right? But then you get to the Patriots and the Jets. Everybody hates the Patriots, man.
Yeah.
The Patriots trying to get somebody. They got a third-string quarterback playing today. Then you got they regular, they back up. They in the third string. They doing big. I picked the Colts over the Falcons. I picked the Pack over the Broncos.
Okay.
For some reason, Joe Flacco up there in doggone Denver. You don't know how the girl's gonna be. She ain't never been everywhere just not one time, right?
Mm-hmm. So them Cowboys though, you know, you got a lot of fans, man, all over the United States, man, that probably ain't never even been to Texas, man. They some Cowboy fans, man.
Cowboys, baby.
you got some Cowboy. That's brother Tuck right there, man. Brother Tuck heard you give him a shout out about them Cowboys, man.
What you got right here, baby? Huh? What that say? What that say? What that say?
Come on around here. Let's see this. Let my audience see the Cowboys shirt.
What that say, baby? Huh? Where you at? Where you at?
Right here. Right. Say the Cowboys. You still there, Brother Porter?
Oh, you talking to him? God.
He brought an old T-shirt in here.
Saints.
He brought an old T-shirt in here, man, with the the Cowboys on it.
Those who got them 2 fingers sticking up on.
Brother Porter, you still there? I think
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Oh, yeah, okay. So I was saying was, he'll be burning that shirt if they lose against the Dolphins today.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? I roll with them to win because they got the better team right now. But if them Dolphins swim up on them, baby shark, it's going to be over with, right? Right? So, Houston, I got for you. You got the Cardinals. This is their first time since 2010 going a 0-3 start. So it's going to be tough on them today, man. They got to overcome that because they're going to fail back.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm fail back. You got 6 new quarterbacks starting this week all over the league. 6 new ones. That ain't even never took a quarterback snap in the NFL not one time.
Wow.
It's tough around the league.
Right. That's untested. That means those teams might. The book is probably looking at that like, man, these guys might not take a chance on these teams that got these new quarterbacks.
Everybody know I'm a big New Orleans Saints fan, man. We got problems, man. We got Drew Brees out with a thumb injury. We didn't take him off the team and put him on injury reserve. We just got that he holding out right now. So it's not going to be as bad as we think it is.
Mm-hmm.
So we really, really, really suffering in defensive there because we allow about 148 yards a game. Everybody know the Saints only allow about 70, 75 yards a game on rushing. We got some things we need to take care of.
Okay.
But the big news we got going on right now is Antonio Brown. What the heck is going on with
what did he do?
Right here can't get right, man.
Yeah, he stay in the news. He stay in the news.
All the way from,
He stay in the news.
Man, he went from coast to coast and he still ain't playing, man. He thought his money was going to be long enough to turn the little broad up and he wouldn't have no extra. But nobody don't want to deal with that type of behavior.
Right.
Now, when you're supposed to be a role model to these kids, nobody don't want to deal with that. And then he told out your boy Kraft and Roethlisberger. He brought that up. They're saying that y'all didn't do that to them, but them dudes served a suspension.
Right.
Them dudes served a suspension, even though they paid it off. How this dude done bought his way out of it, I don't know, but I think he's going to be sitting down with Kaepernick. Maybe we need to bring them on the show next week, right?
Okay. Okay.
So you got also, so we're going to play Trinity Bridgewater today for the Saints. They also said Roethlisberger ain't going to need the Tommy John surgery, right? So that's real huge for him. But he might have had a season-ending injury, maybe even career-ending injury. We just don't know. It's going to take a long time to see.
Right.
Now,
is it his legs?
I got to get it. Huh?
Is it his legs?
Yes, sir. He got a serious injury, man. A lot of players don't even come back from it.
Oh wow.
But like I said, the doctors and the NFL said he don't need that Tommy John. So that's the big thing. But he been injury plagued for the past few years anyway. He's accident prone. So they might need to be thinking about getting him a new quarterback. This is the time to do it while everybody just beginning.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
But I do want to tell my New England Patriots fans they doing good too in another field. They won't win the Super Bowl this year, but they is leading the league and having babies this year. This team has had 4 babies in the first 3 weeks of the season. 4 babies.
Wow.
So their players can't even be at the game to play because they wives about to deliver babies.
Wow.
When their kids grow up and play for the Patriots, probably not. They want to go to New Orleans against Saints, right? It's going to be serious,
Right.
In baseball, I'm going to teach you on some baseball, too, because I like baseball a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, one of the biggest rivals is always going to be the Cardinals and the Cubs. That's one of the biggest things going on, and they battling number 1 and number 2. I think the Cardinals winning by up about a game ahead of the Cubs. But it's about to calm down. But the big thing of it is a Colorado Rocky. They had the biggest off-season pickup of the best sports players that could be playing baseball at this time, and they just now broke a 12-game loser streak.
Wow.
Now, they probably played 20 games in a week.
And you
but 12 games, that's behind.
Yeah, and you know what? You never hear nothing about the Colorado Rockies. That's one of them teams. It's about their time to shine anyway. Because, you know, I'm not a big sports fan anymore. You know, I used to play it, but even when I was playing sports, you never heard anything about the Colorado Rockies. So
since the beginning.
Right. So they might be. Yeah, they might be on to something.
Well, they like I said, they off a 12-game losing streak. They did that. That's gonna be huge. That's huge.
Mm-hmm.
So you got a whole lot of stuff going on, man. The college, the FBS is huge right now. I think I'm gonna go with Clemson to win the whole thing this year.
What?
Alabama ain't talking about nothing. Roll Tide, when Clemson come around, the roll done died.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow.
Hey, them boys playing tough, man. They got them at number one. They got them at number one. It was projected number one at the end of last season.
Oh, wow.
You know, Nick Saban's got to be down there scratching his head about something. He up in Nashville selling Mercedes in the off season, with his recruiting stuff, and right for the summer, for the winter season. That's what we got to get going on.
Oh, wow.
We're ready for some battling, man. Sports is taking off. Hey, you got, Ralph London, how about him? He's supposed to be teamed up with Roger Federer today.
Okay.
In the tennis match today.
Oh.
But he ain't going to be able, Federer ain't going to be able to play because he done broke his moon. I don't know what he was doing, you know, but
what?
So he didn't show up, so.
Do they have replacements for them when that happens like that? Or do they got to forfeit the match?
You got a team, right? So most of these dudes is they playing and practicing amongst their team.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But you got to get, you got to be at a certain statute to be able to get in one of them matches like that. You know what I mean?
Right.
Some of them dudes ain't just up there yet. You know what I mean?
Right. So do they forfeit? Do they forfeit, like if the main, like a Federer can't play, would the duo have to forfeit the whole thing?
That's exactly what would happen, brother.
Oh, wow.
That's exactly what would happen.
Wow,
what would happen.
That sounds like it's devastating.
I told, Flacco's got trouble up there in Green Bay right now, 7-0, losing. Flacco can't never. He gonna dream about Aaron Rodgers when he gets through. You know what I mean?
Right.
He gonna dream about him. You know. We got so much good stuff. The Vikings beating the Ravens. I did pick the Ravens over the Vikings. You know, the first quarter it's looking kind of tossed up, man. It's kind of tossed up. But we need some more shake-up in the league. We need some of these power force teams to lose some people and have to deal with some things that these other teams done did.
Right.
Ooh, the Ravens is beating the Chiefs. It's raining on them, but they're winning on 2 field goals.
Okay.
Field goals to nothing.
Yeah,
you got a lot going on today, brother.
I see, man. I see. That's why I call you, man. You my go-to guy for the sports, man. And you know, I'm gonna get back to the show because we talking about this whistleblower that that's basically he had enough of Trump, and the man is.
We have had enough of this guy.
Yeah, we've had enough of him, man, and I've been basically giving a rundown on this whistleblower who and the whole timeline of events, because you know Donald Trump is trying to go and get dirt on Joe Biden over in Ukraine. So I'm gonna get back to the show, man, and I sure appreciate you. I sure appreciate you, man.
We got to come together.
Yeah, we do. We gotta get out there and get these people out here to vote, man, and get them up out of there. We can't sit back like we did with Hillary. You know, most of us set out with Hillary, man, because you know we were just, you know, both of them, Hillary and Trump, was just impossible. But we can't do it this time.
Yeah, brother. We in a real bad time, like around the world too. Not just in the United States dealing with this clown, but we in a bad time around the world. We need somebody that's gonna be strong at the representatives, not with no jokes and silliness. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's the big thing, man. You know, that's the big thing. Like, we got to come together, man, and sit this guy down. You know.
That's
maybe
right.
We can go back and do some of the business stuff on the hotel again and stuff. But you know. Yeah, this is not his gig, the president of the United States. I give him respect because he got that title. You know what I'm saying? But he might have stole it.
Right, right. And then you trying to, and then he trying to keep it again because he know that the day he get out of office, man, they come with them handcuffs. They got so much. They got so much going on with him. But I'm finna get back to the show, and I thank you for that sports call, Brother Porter. And that was.
Man, I look forward to next Sunday, man.
Oh, I will call you, man. Thank you, Brother Porter. Travel light. Okay. All right. Travel light, brother. And that was the sports call with Brother Porter. And like I say, Brother Porter, that's my go-to guy for all things sports, man. He's sitting down watching a couple of games right now, just like it's a lot of people around America watching the game. But I'm gonna wrap today's show up with another thing I had read in here that might be of interest to some of you. It's a real good article I read in here. About GM. Now, General Motors, we all know, is a part of the big three truck and car manufacturers in America. And GM, basically all around the country, these men and women are on strike. And this is another proof that we're going into a recession, people. It's coming. This recession is coming. And it's a line of succession. When the car manufacturers stop producing cars because they're on strike, you know, the people that sell the cars, you know, basically their money gets hurt because they can't get new cars in. Once the people who sell cars are hurt and people aren't getting the cars on the road, the fuel companies and it's a line. It's a line, people. We already have tariffs that they've put on China that's boosting up you know, the rates and prices on goods. China is not paying for these tariffs, people. We are as taxpayers. And then when you got the tariffs going on, then you got this strike that's basically all around the country. And then they done lowered the taxes on some of America's richest people. It might not affect us right now because America is a slow-moving beast. But within months, it's going to catch up with us. And about January or February, we're going to be in a serious economic crisis in this country. Be prepared, people. And these people at General Motors are so sick that they was actually contemplating cutting health care for the people who was on sick leave. You see, you had people on sick leave before General Motors even had a strike. So these people were not a part of the strike. They might be a part of the strike once they come off sick leave. But it says here you should not be, they're basically telling the people on sick leave that the people that are on strike, their health care has been cut. But the people that was already on health that had health care who was on sick leave, they're basically telling them you should not be affected until your status changes from disability leave. Your eligibility for disability benefits will be determined by the new status and timing of the events, the company said on the website. Now, basically, they're telling these people, if you come off sick leave and you go on strike like the rest of your brothers and sisters, we're going to take your health coverage too. You know, so this is some crazy stuff, people. You know, you got a man here who just recovered from carpal tunnel injury, and he's scared they're going to try to cut his health care once he comes out the hospital. Because, you know, everybody knows when you come out the hospital for major tendon injuries, you need recovery time. And recovery time can be expensive. So, you know, this is This is some stuff, people. I'm telling you, it's going down. The recession is coming. You know, it's coming. And then the people in Houston, we got to keep them in our prayers. They've had major flooding going on down in Houston. Nobody's even talking about it. And I think the reason why they're not talking about it because they've taken so much money out of FEMA for a border wall. They can't even help people who needs this money to recover from disasters. You know, so these are just things we need to think about. And this is the Daily Read, and I will see you next Sunday. And I am your host, Marcus Gentry. Thank you, people.
The business, motherfucker.
The Daily Read.
Bringing the business.